Hey friends, this week in our community Facebook group, I've seen a lot of comments about watering succulents in the gritty mix and how it feels like the water is just flowing right through and not really absorbing into the gritty mix. But one of the great things about the gritty mix is that the components in it, at least the one that I'm using, which is turfus, crushed granite, or if you're buying the bonsai jack mix, it's actually called bonsai block. It's a very similar material. And then pine bark fines. So the great thing about it is because it's so porous and the particles are around a 1/4 inch, it allows the water to flow through really easily, but also allows the materials to pick up the water easily. But I'm going to show you today 2 different ways that I water that are really simple that will help your soil absorb as much water as it can and keep your succulents looking awesome. Now, the first watering method I'm going to show you, it works really well for this current setup. So I've been using it for about 4 months now, and you can see on my shelf, I have these rubber mats under, like on top of the shelves, just to catch drips. But for me to move each one of these to the sink and, pour water on, let it drain, and then bring it back, that would have been a lot of work. So the solution that I have developed is this. Ooh, you can see a little bit of my messy studio. Okay, so I have this little pot, and this is what I'm going to demo for you. So you can see right here, that little red thing in the bottom, it is actually a plug. So I got these plugs on Amazon, and some of them I've cut to make them shorter. Like you can see here, this one's not as long as these. But what I'm doing is I'm putting them in the drainage hole, and then when I water, sorry, try not to make you sick, but also do this with one hand, I am filling the pot up to the top. You can see how the water is coming right to the rim here of the pot, right? So I'm filling it up, and actually you'll find that the water kind of settles a little bit, and then you may have to add a little bit more. So I do that first. So all of those plants that you saw on the shelf, they all have a plug in them. And so I will just go through and I will water all of the plants. And then once that's done, let's see. Then I have to pull the plug out, and I can't figure out how to show you that. So one second. Okay, so then I just pull this little plug out. Some are easier than others. And the water drains out. And I drain it actually right into this tray that I am using. So I wait for it all to drain out. And once it's pretty much stopped dripping, my fingers actually have the most water on it right now, then I go ahead and I plug it back up. Ooh, that reflection is so fun. And this has actually worked really well. So then I would put it back on the shelf. So the water absorbs into the soil. I know it's getting completely drenched all the way through because I usually let it sit for about, 15 minutes to half an hour, depending on how long it takes me to go through the full shelf. And then, so I know the water is penetrating all the way to the inside. But you could also just do it just like I did there, where I soak the soil and then pull the plug immediately. And if you're using the gritty mix, it should definitely be able to absorb water. But I have just found that this has helped these plants to develop a really strong root system. And I can go about 2 weeks between watering, and there's pretty good airflow in here, and the soil dries out pretty quickly. So that's option 1. And then option 2 is you'd still want to move the plants to the sink or somewhere like that. Or you can just use a pot like this, to catch those spills. And I pour a little bit of water on top, and I wait for it to soak through, which with the gritty mix, it's going to soak through a lot faster. This is from Mountain Crest Gardens. It's my string of dolphins. I have not repotted it yet, and so it's in like a coconut coir mix. And so I'm going to pour the water all around the top to make sure it gets all over it, and then just wait a minute. And with the gritty mix, I usually just wait like 5 to 10 seconds, but it's definitely important with a more organic mix that you let the water sit for a minute and pour water on again, because otherwise, if your soil hasn't been watered in a long time, it's actually not going to soak all the way to the center of the soil because the soil ends up being hydrophobic, meaning it repels water. So you can see how long it takes for that water to soak through. And actually this does have a plug in it, so it's not going to soak through anymore. So that's how I've been watering my succulents. Hopefully you found that to be helpful. The gritty mix is a really great option for succulents, especially if you tend to overwater or if you're growing indoors where it just takes longer for the soil to dry out anyway. If you want to see any of the products that I mentioned or was using here, they're all linked in the description below the video. And then if you want to see more videos like this, we're doing a new one every week, and all of the previous ones will be kept in our Succulent Lovers Club. And you can join that by going to succulentsandsunshine.com/club. In addition to these Succulents in Seconds videos, we also do a new class every month focused on a specific topic around succulent care. And then we do a live Q&A session too, where you can ask me questions and I'll answer them. And I can look at your specific succulents and what you're doing, give you input, and help you find a plan that works for you moving forward. And then we also have a private Facebook community where I'm really involved in answering questions. You can post photos and get help from other members in the club and learn more that way. So I'd love to invite you to join. Just head on over to succulentsandsunshine.com/club. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.